Casual Friday today?
Yeah.
Casual Friday for me every day. I'm in the gym, that's nice. People dress up like this all the time, so this is my attire. But first of all, thank you guys for having me. Thanks, Marie, for getting me in here. Really excited to share some information with you guys about different lies and myths within modern health and wellness. For people out there that are, attempting to live a healthy lifestyle, sometimes we get, caught off track. Many times, and we get led astray from, what the media is telling us necessarily. Certain things you read in the magazine, the ads, all the stuff you see on TV, it's not necessarily true. So I want to smash through those myths and lies today to help you guys out a little bit. Okay, so hope you don't mind that I have a little sheet up here. I just do that so I don't get off track, because sometimes my mind kind of wanders and I start talking about this and that, and you guys lose track of things. So, but we're just going to start out. I'm going to start with the first myth, and I got a little story for you. Just kind of start out with it. Talk about my sister a little bit, because growing up in high school, she was the girl. She was kind of, she wasn't overweight or anything, but she was always thick. But she always wanted, like, a thinner stomach, thinner legs. And so her idea to do that was to just run. So she did track, she did cross country all 4 years, and she just kind of stayed the same all the time. She never really got thin. And then after high school, she actually joined up with the Army. And as you know, in the Army, they do a lot of PT type stuff. So they're doing the push-ups, the pull-ups, they're still running. They're running around with rucksacks on. And it wasn't like 6 months until she gave me a call, and she's like, "You won't believe it. Like, I'm losing all these inches. I'm looking so much better." And I told her, I said, "You know why? Because you're starting to do more resistance training. Because before, a lot of people think they can, they lose a lot of fat, but it gets to a certain point when you do cardio, you just do hours and hours of cardio, you kind of hit a wall." And so I just wanted to kind of bring that up to you guys. A great way to kind of bust through that wall is just to add simple resistance type exercise to your routine. Because what cardio tends to do, it's all cardiovascular, so it's just working your lungs. It's not necessarily working your muscles. It's not forcing your body to maintain muscle. Rather, it would get rid of the muscle. Because as you run, your body's forced to work hard. So naturally, as a survival mechanism, your body's going to get rid of that muscle, so it's easier to run. Okay, so when that happens, when we lose muscle, then our metabolism kind of slows down, and we don't want that. Especially if we want to lose weight, tighten our body up a little bit, we just want to throw in a little bit of resistance exercise. So like push-ups, different types of squats and lunges, things like that. That's what will help us out, in addition to running. Because how many of you are all runners in here? Anybody? Because I know people like to run. But I mean, for people, some people out there, that's just their hobby. I mean, they love to run. It kind of clears their mind, and those are things that they love to do. But just adding a little bit of resistance exercise in there, that's going to help increase your goals. So that's kind of the first myth that I want to debunk. So the solution to that is just, like I said, just add in a little bit of resistance training, nothing too crazy. So myth number 2, and I'm sure a lot of you ladies out there might recognize this myth. It's talking about, if I do resistance training, you're going to get big and bulky. So another story about myself. I've been lifting my whole life, and if that was true, I'd probably be a lot bigger. I honestly would. Without as much as I lift, I would be a lot bigger. I'd be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay? I'd probably be bigger than that. That's true. But that's not true. And the reason because of that is a couple different reasons. A, we're not on drugs, or at least I don't think so. Okay? We're not taking drugs, so most of the bodybuilders and things, people that you see on TV, because when we automatically think about like lifting weights, you think Arnold Schwarzenegger, you think all the big bodybuilders on TV. Well, yeah, they were on drugs, and they were, doing a lot of extra things, so they did that specifically to get that big. So, A, we're not on drugs, so ladies, don't have to be scared if you touch a weight, you're not going to grow a bicep and get big and stuff, so you don't have to think about that because you're not on drugs. And then 2, it's kind of about genetics too, because you do see some of the girls that are naturally bigger. Unfortunately, that's just genetics, So just lifting weights in general. Again, kind of going back to the first myth, it's good to add in resistance training because we want to add muscle on our body. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean like you got to get all big and bulky. Just adding a few pounds of muscle on your body is going to do a lot of things for you. It's going to increase your daily caloric burn, so you're going to burn more calories. In return, you're going to burn more fat. And there's a difference between fat and muscle. Okay, so fat on our body just kind of sits there, it doesn't do anything, right? Well, when we add a little bit of muscle on our body, it takes up energy. So the more we add, the more energy we burn. Plus, muscle is nice and dense and it's tight to your body. So adding a few muscles onto your body is actually going to tighten you up a little bit. It's not going to make it bulkier. So kind of with that myth, don't be afraid to do resistance training. And again, like the resistance training I'm talking about is just really light stuff, moderate stuff that we do in boot camp. We do a lot of like body weight exercises, squats, lunges, pull-ups. Well, we'll get to the pull-ups, but just different variations like that with really light stuff. And we're not lifting the heavy weights or anything like that. So just know resistance training is a good thing, and it's going to help you out. So the next one, kind of want to talk about. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Been talking about the physical aspect of things. Let's talk about the nutritional types of stuff. So how many people love bread, pasta, rice? I do, right? How many you guys all hear about like the Atkins craze? That kind of came and gone, right? Okay, we all know that stuff doesn't work, right? And many of us can't live without carbs, right? Gotta have them, okay? So I want to talk about the myth behind carbs make us fat, right? That's the whole mentality they think. When we eat that bread, we eat that, pasta, whatever, it's going to make us fat. That's not necessarily true. What makes us fat is being inactive, eating too much of anything, and then sugars, and processed junk, okay? So, A, not being active, obviously. We'll start to add on the weight over time. Talking about the sugars and processed stuff, so that's in like all the candies, fruit juice, the pop, the crackers, chips, pretty much anything that comes in a bag or a box, right? A lot of processed stuff in there. That stuff, it doesn't do any good for our body. It's a lot of empty calories, okay? And then, we don't have really any use for it. There's not any nutritional value in there, okay? So, if you guys didn't know, there's a couple different types of carbs, okay? There's good carbs, there's bad carbs. Okay, that's a bad carb right there. Let's just throw that away. Alright, but so you got your good carbs. You got A and B. Good carbs, A, so all our natural types of carbs like fruits, vegetables, like all our green vegetables. You guys all eat vegetables like every meal a day, right? Greener the better. Okay? So we got all our good carbs. Okay, and then we got all our bad carbs. So the bad carbs give carbs a bad name, period. So again, the bad carbs, things that you want to stay away from, like all your pops, tons of sugar in there. Things like your Gatorade even. Okay, Gatorade, unless you're going to be running like a marathon, we shouldn't be drinking too much Gatorade. It's about as bad as drinking a couple pops with the amount of sugar that's in there. Okay. Then you got your fruit juices. Okay, even though it says it's healthy, it's whole, apple juice or whatever. Things that you want to pay attention to when you read the nutrition labels, how much sugar is in there, not necessarily how many carbs are in there. Look at how many sugars are in there, because that's what's getting us in trouble, are the sugars. Okay, so you got all your bad carbs over here. Other things I want to add to that are things like your bread, your white bread, so that, like your highly refined grains and flours, stuff like that. It's no good for us. It's no good for us. So like white breads, crackers, even your pasta, your rice, white rice, brown rice, stuff like that. We want to keep that in the bad category. So the good category, we got all our green vegetables like broccoli, spinach, kale, cauliflower. Yeah, you guys' mouths are just watering right now, right? But this type of stuff, this is a free food. This is a free food for our body. We can put this in our body any time of the day. But we should, because a lot of vitamins and nutrients. It's going to fill our stomach up. It's going to supply us with a lot of good stuff that's going to help us out, make us feel better. Okay. So anything green you can eat anytime. Okay, unless it's green candy or something. All right. So those are the good carbs. You should be eating those carbs. Now, the carbs that you can't get rid of, right? So like, even though you got your whole grain breads and multi-grain stuff, they say it's real healthy. Well, it's healthier than the bad carbs that I described, like all the white refined flour. That is the bad stuff, but we're getting a little bit better when they add fiber in there, okay? Here's a good rule to follow by if you can't get rid of your carbs, okay? And what I teach my boot campers, because I'm not going to ever tell them to get rid of all your carbs. Go Atkins. You're not going to do that. People aren't going to enjoy life. They're just going to be miserable. They'll probably be really angry when they come into camp and they're grouchy. I don't want that, okay? So, a couple rules. Eat carbs. Try to eat them in the morning. So things like your fruits, because fruits have a lot more sugar in them. So we want to keep that in the morning before lunch. It's not good to eat a banana right before you go to bed, okay? Because the sugars and carbs in that banana, they're made to be used as energy. Whereas if we're about to go to sleep, we're not going to be active for 5 to 8 hours, right? So all those carbs and sugar that you're taking in, we're more likely going to store that as unwanted stuff, right? So it's better to eat that stuff in the morning because then you have all day to burn it off, okay? So like your different cereals or healthy cereals with fiber in them, that's morning time stuff. Then, before and after a workout, you can also throw in like your grains, your breads, your pastas if you want to. You generally just want to eat that stuff on a very active day because the more active you are, the more likely you're going to burn those type of carbs off and use them as energy. Whereas if you just got a day, you're going to be lounging around all day, you're not going to be very active, you wouldn't want to take those carbs in because you're not going to burn those off as energy. So just try to follow that rule of thumb. It's a good way to still keep in the stuff that you like, but at the same time, still allow your body to burn, fat. Yep.
So are you saying I have to give up my Nike bowl of popcorn?
I would try. I would try. High fructose corn syrup is terrible for you.
It's horrible, I know.
It's very, very processed sugar, and it's just not good for you. I would look at the ingredients and